Hello and welcome into Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and a night after Boston suffered through some really tough news, seeing Jason Tatum go down and a potential shot at a dynasty for the Celtics potentially going the wrong way, it's some good news for football fans, and not just because the NFL has announced that the Cowboys and Eagles will officially kick off the 2025 season on September 4th, but there's a chance that a potential Pro Bowler out there for the Patriots, a Patriots Hall of Famer, talking about a recent draft pick and several other roster moves for the Patriots. Before we get into it, make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel. Get into the comments and let us know what you think about the Patriots' potential roster moves heading into training camp time. And make sure you go back and check out our other videos after this one. We start looking at the latest news around Bengals star defensive end Trey Hendrickson, and it's long been contentious, but assumed that they would be able to find some common ground on a new contract. Hendrickson is 30 years old and entering the final year of his contract, and coming off his best year in the NFL. He led the league in sacks with 17 and a half last season, and named to the Associated Press All-Pro team. But when you're out there paying Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and now T. Higgins as well, there's not a lot of things that the Bengals can do on the contract front. And it's gotten a little messy because Hendrickson put out a statement through ESPN and said, "No communication has taken place between my camp and the organization post-draft. Offers part of the draft didn't reflect the vision we had shared and were promised last offseason to continue to play at a high level. Coaches are aware of these past conversations rather than using collaboration to get us to that point and bring me home to the team. They are no longer communicating." Again, the Bengals long have a standing tradition of not getting these free agent deals done. And when you see them start to do it with players like Chase and Higgins, you knew somebody was not going to get paid at the end of the day. Now, Hendrickson, it will be a valuable commodity out there, and you would have to assume, being under contract, the Bengals would at least want to get something for him instead of having a disgruntled player out there. Now, a guy that's on the final year of a contract probably means you're not going to have to give up a first or second round pick in a deal. But could the Patriots start to look at, say, give up a third round pick to be able to add someone of that caliber to the defensive line for Mike Vrabel? Again, the Patriots should absolutely be invested in this. There's a long runway for this to play out, and there is always the chance that contract negotiations, especially in the day and age of Twitter and social media, play out in the public eye here. We'll see how it actually ends up shaking out, but the Patriots should be involved. There's going to be lots of bidders, and we'll see what the final compensation, whether a long-term contract for the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson, or a deal that sees him playing in another uniform, potentially in New England. Speaking of new players in New England in new uniforms, Trayvon Henderson, the second round pick. Hendrickson, Trey. Confusing. You have to give me that much. But Trayvon Henderson, the Ohio State running back, selected in the second round by the New England Patriots in this past year, in this year's draft, has drawn a lot of comparisons to what Josh McDaniels loves, and that is a versatile third down running back, whether it's Kevin Falk or Shane Vereen or Rex Burkhead, Danny Woodhead, Brandon Bolden, or the incomparable James White. Trayvon Henderson has a lot to look up to and could fill shoes that several others have done. Kevin Falk has actually lent his voice to the selection of Henderson here in the second round, and actually went so far to say he was one of the top running backs, speaking on Trayvon Henderson, coming out of high school in the country. And I almost had him. I tried to get him to LSU. Falk, obviously a Tiger in his own right. Falk said the Ohio State back when reached out recently. He said when I saw Patriots drafted him, I'm like, wow, they got themselves a really good football player. He went out to say he's a really good pass protector, which is probably why the Patriots went out and targeted him. He also added that you can't get much of that with guys coming from college when they're the number one guys on the team. So the fact that Trayvon Henderson is known as a home run hitter, shifty, explosive, fast, game breaker, but also known as a guy who's willing to stick his nose up in the hole in the offensive line and pick up a blitzer is why he's on the Patriots. And some of the greatest Patriots third down backs are already taking note of what he brings to the table and what the Patriots can expect from him to start in just year one. Now, obviously, that's going to be a huge thing for Drake May and being able to know that he's got that help, not just on the offensive line with Will Campbell coming to anchor the left tackle spot, but those young running backs willing to pick up in blitz packages and in passing downs as well. Some good news all around, and Kevin Falk, thank you always for your input. Additionally, the Patriots have signed, we say 2 free agents, and we'll get to why it's actually 3 here. But the Pats making some early roster moves based off of shifting those undrafted free agents around who was in there in those early practice day sessions, but officially have added defensive tackle Isaiah Aiton and offensive guard Mekhi Butler. Butler starting his college way back at Iowa Western Community College, where he's actually an NGCAA first-team All-American, went on to Arkansas State and started left guard, had 3 years there. Was actually the top-rated guard in the entire Sun Belt Conference. 3 years as a starter for Arkansas State. And it's obviously, again, a position that we've talked about, the left guard, being up for grabs. And whether there's players like Layden Robinson, Cole Strange, Wes Schweitzer, Jack Conley, who we focused on yesterday, Butler now could be an additional factor in that battle and really gives Doug Marrone, Will Campbell, somebody really to take a look at, to own in on, and see what they could really do and really use that competition to bring out the best in everybody for this situation. Additionally, Isaiah Aiton comes to the Patriots after a season in Tennessee. Not a big surprise to see another Titan coming over, especially after Mike Vrabel and Highsmith, the new executive personnel director here, bringing in some of the guys he's familiar with, whether to either help for the system, helping other guys, or to be able to compare where others and new guys are picking up the scheme. Additionally, last year, Aiton actually signed with the Titans as an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers. Yes, that Patriots connection continues in some shape, form, or fashion. And he was actually waived at the end of training camp and stayed on Tennessee's practice squad throughout. So, again, some back-end roster construction that gets you to 90 men on the roster, which is what you can carry through preseason up until that 53-man cut down. But for the Patriots, it actually will be 91 players on their roster because Wilfred Pernay from Virginia Tech actually gets the asterisk as an international exemption through the NFL's International Pathway Program. We've mentioned this several times, but wanted to shine a quick spotlight on what this is and what it means for the Patriots, as this rule was established back in 2017 by the NFL's International Pathway Program, aimed to actually provide athletes from all around the world for better opportunities to earn roster spots in the NFL. And to qualify, the athlete must be born in another country. That's the only qualifier to actually get this spot, as NFL teams always looking for a leg up and an advantage. And if you can carry more players, obviously an advantage. So while Penne actually had a great career for Virginia Tech, he actually qualifies by being born in France, Tours, France to be exact, and getting that exemption with the Patriots. He actually played high school locally here in Connecticut on St. Thomas More School, and then went on to play, as we mentioned, for the Hokies. And last season, he started 4 of 13 games for Virginia Tech, along rotating in that defensive line, the near 300-pounder, checking in at 6'2" as well, and finished with 22 tackles, 5.5 for loss actually, and 3.5 sacks. So he's actually not a stranger to the Patriots in this pathway program. Actually, the third player in recent seasons, and one familiar that the Patriots fans might remember is Jakob Johnson, coming over from Germany. Was actually the team's second pathway program, and probably one that made the biggest impact in that fullback role. But congrats again to Penne for cracking that, and we'll see what he's able to do through the offseason program, training camp, and into preseason football. Again, with the NFL's announcement that September is creeping up on us. We know that first game will be Cowboys-Eagles. We'll be eager to see what the NFL announces for the Patriots, as their schedule will come out later this week. We will make sure to have it all here for you on Pat's latest with breakdowns, predictions, and everything around the NFL schedule, along with all the other NFL news that impacts everything going on for the Pats. As always, make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel, get in the comments, and let us know what you think about the latest news here for the Patriots. Give us a like if you like what you hear, and go back and check out all of our old episodes to make sure you know what's going on with your favorite team. We'll have it all here for you. Fight on, Foxborough.